All right, we're back. I'm alive, barely. I'm gonna try and get all the way. I'm gonna try and shoot a whole video. Let's see if I can make it an hour. I feel like dog do. All right, Parisian Tour 9-hole cup. Here we go. Parc de Paris. Now I looked at it. I think it's just at the original Parc de Paris holes. I think I like the original pin placements better, but we'll see. I can't. We'll have to see. Let's go look at them. Parisian. So we got the. What do I need here? I probably need this. Probably need tournaments. Jeez, could you have all this stuff ready before you started shooting the video, dude? Well, make us do it. Hey, I'm making you. I'm involving you in the setup process. That way you've got more experience on it. That way you can put it on your resume. You've been part of a team. Parisian. All right. Okay. I'm going to have to start shooting. So I've been shooting pro practice round. I've been going out there and just practicing it, doing the deal, but I probably should do a totally separate pro scouting report. But this hole is a little different. In rookie, okay, we have 3 ways we can go. This is the layup. There's one. You can go out here. There's 2, and here's 3. In one-on-one play from the pro tees, I always play here. Even occasionally the wind will be blowing in this direction, and with a low power ball you could come out, and I might try and go for this, but I almost always play for this. It gives you a really shitty shot on the other side because here's the green and here's this area right here, and the sand's right on the other side. So when you're coming into it, you either need a club with backspin. This would be a great hole for a thorn because you could do backspin on here and you can get your tail, especially if you got an upper developed thorn. This would be a great hole for that because you don't have a lot of room here. This area in here is so damn steep that, you know, in order to get it to stop. Now, this is the original pin placement, so it's a little teeny bit better. You can come at it a little bit more from the side. There's a rough bump that you can do right here. So if you're coming at it from here or from here, you have some options. Obviously, if you're coming from here, it's easier to just get a run at it without having to do anything weird because the ball's not coming in as hot. This is a wood. This is short iron. You can also hit. Okay, so in rookie, we have an option, and I'm not so sure that from the pro tees, if the wind wasn't blowing in the right direction and you had a big enough power ball, that you might still be able to get over into this area. But in rookie, if we can get to this area, and when you're coming out from the tee box, and we draw a line straight to the, okay, we're going to be going off in this direction. And when you're pointing off your ball guide here, these 2 trees, there's going to be a separation between the trees where you got a tree here and a tree here, and your ball guide goes right through the middle of them, and that's kind of like the starting point. Like you want that, like that's a good area to come through out in here. If the wind is blowing this way, it will carry a mile, and you can end up getting overblown over into here. This is especially if you're using a bigger power ball. So I think it's better to bring out a bigger power ball here because you can be more consistent. But on headwind days, even with a bigger power ball in rookie, it still may not. If we have a 3-mile-an-hour wind, it is literally on a pure headwind day pushing against it about 6, and on a pure tailwind day, it's pushing it forward 6. So you're getting a lot of carry on days when we've got tailwind, and you're getting a lot of pushback. It's super hard to make it over here on days when there's headwind. But I'm going to bring out a big ball so that I can make it over there every day. The goal here is to try and get as far out on this line so that when I put my curl on it, I'm coming through right here. Now, it'd be smarter of me to try and come through right here because I wouldn't have to work as hard, and this is a nice little chip to get up on the green. So I'm going to be working for this area. Like this would be the great, so if I hit a great to the right, it was actually in the perfect spot. And a perfect is here, and a great to the left is, so I'm staying within that window. Let's try it. Let's try it. Now, depending on which way the wind is blowing, we can, in rookie, get this done with a 3 power ball, depending on which way the wind's blowing. So if the wind's blowing headwind, yeah, I think you're going to have to bring out a power 5 ball. I could be wrong. I could be. It could be. We'll bring out a Titan and see what happens. See what ha happen is open up some chests. This chest is going to have every single card I've ever been looking for in it. Not so much. Dang it. I was really counting on that chest, man. I was really counting on it. Whether you want to admit it or not, we're farmers. We're just farmers, man. It's a long and lonely life. Sure, finally get an opponent. Who goes first? Who goes first? Come on! We have so... I'll tell you what, it's really... It was super easy when I was just shooting like 1 account in rookie, and that was it. But having 2 accounts in rookie, one with super low level clubs and one with high level clubs, and then shooting 1 pro, I'm all jacked up. I can't even remember where the hell I'm at. I'm just going to go out there and play. Just play! Somebody asked me in my comments about like percentage numbers. I will tell you that I could give you percentage numbers, but you really want to figure them out for yourself. You need to figure them out for your clubs. So like I can give you some numbers, but I don't know if those work for your. Okay, let's see where I'm at here. The wind's pushing me on that track up there. So the wind's going to push me. I'm going to leave the wind in like it is. Hitting it perfect and see if I got my angle right. No, I hit it too far. Overhit it. You want to hit the rough right there so you bleed out of the rough. Otherwise you'll end up in the tree. So yeah, that was perfect. That trajectory right there was absolutely the trajectory that I'm looking for. So the wind was pushing me along the rough line through this angle. So letting it push me up there to the out into the open. Just a little too much topspin. I've been behind these trees. I will tell you right now, if you get behind these trees, there's times when you get behind these trees, you got to remember that if I make this shot right here, I get an eagle. But if I don't make it and I go to it, and hopefully this will be an example. So right here I can get past the trees. But if you were back here behind the tree where you can't get past it, find a spot somewhere on the green. Somewhere there's a spot that you can make it to. Even if it's in the very back of the green, or if you're off the green. If you're wherever it happens to be, just chip yourself out of there so that you can make, because I've had to come out here and chip myself over to this area on the back side of the green where I'm coming out of the trees to get over here, and then had to then turn around and chip myself to get in to get the birdie. Whatever it takes. If you get behind those trees and you don't have a clear shot, and you're not going to be able to curl around them. And you got to remember too, when you're behind those trees, that if you go to try and curl it around, well, there's another tree right next to it. And so it's really easy to curl around a tree when it's the outside tree or it's the only tree out in the field. But when you're in a bunch of trees like that, you start curling, and now all of a sudden now you've went from trying to clear this tree by curling it around, and you hit this tree right here as opposed to just hitting it straight through. So if you find yourself behind those trees, just get back on the green anywhere, because you can make your pitch shot from there. Don't try and, because those trees right there, I have myself, and I've seen multiple people try and hit it through those trees and end up, you know, getting caught up. You can get through, but you don't want to do that. You don't want to do it, man. Trust me. I fucking hate this hole. I think of a lot of par threes. So when I first started shooting videos for the game and had like mid-level, and I will tell you, this is great advice. Whether everybody out there agrees with me or not, this is great advice. When you start getting mid-level clubs, and you start getting clubs that have, like, you've got your Guardian that's got 100 backspin, and you got your Saturn, or either your Grim Reaper, and they've got, you know, the Saturn gets 92, I think. And coming out on a hole like this, if you have any problems whatsoever, you bring the biggest backspin club that you have, and you draw a straight line to that spot, and you backspin it to that spot, and then putt it in. Whatever it takes to end up right here. Make your putt. Move the hell along. Because this hole, especially, we've got the original pin placement here. It is so easy, if you're bouncing from here, to get up, to get over to that spot, to overshoot it. And on the, here's the pin, and I mean, like, it goes like just right past the pin, and if you're carrying any speed at all, you're almost guaranteed to roll off. I mean, it's super hard to stick. If you go past the pin here, I mean, you can go past the pin and stop right there, but if you blow the pin even just a little teeny bit, it'll end up off the green, and there's a good chance that you're going to end up in the sand. And for whatever reason, and the deal is that it's how this area out here is shaped because of all of these bowls. If you're coming at it from this direction, and I played this shot a lot with my Saturn, coming here and then using curl to try and bring it around. It takes, especially if you hit a grate to the left or the right, because you're in this type of a bowl and you're trying to hit at the bottom, and you hit a grate to the left, and now it hit over here, and now it's going boom right towards the sand. You hit it on this side, and it's going boom, and it's going right on this. This hole is really tricky. In pro, I've been playing this, I think this is in Tour 9 right now, I've been playing plus 30 on the shot. And I think in Ricky, I've been playing like plus 15. And I don't know that those numbers will work for you. That's just like, and I don't know that those numbers are right to try and actually get a hole-in-one. It's just like, if you're playing one-on-one and you need a base number that you know that there's an adjustment and it'll get you close. You know, that's basically where I'm at. I really don't like this shot. If you have a low wind ball, this might not be bad, because you could set yourself up like 5 rings off. And so no matter which way the wind was blowing, you'd always be able to work the wind out. But I do not want to get involved in this sand at all. That sand is big bad. And it's the same thing if you were hitting here and the wind was blowing this way and you had to pull across it. It's the same thing if you were hitting over here and the wind's blowing this way, and now you got to start involving it. We'll have to see how it plays here. We'll just have to see how it plays. I fucking hate this hole. It's not like that. I mean, it's just some holes you just aren't your cup of tea. This is just not I've never really been a big fan of this hole. So let's turn that around. Let's go out here and I have made a lot of hole-in-ones on this hole, but this hole has also ate my lunch enough times that I have a somewhat healthy respect for it. I'm not sure if I need more than one side spin. We'll switch it up if I do. I need to find my cigarette. Hold on one second. All right, All right, where am I at? We're on hole number 2. Hole number 2. Let's get going. Let's get going. Wake up, the sun finally came out. It's cold. It's just right. It's not cold. It's just right. It's cool. I like the fall. I think if I'm honest with myself, fall is probably my favorite season of the year. I'm a spring and fall guy. Not a huge winter fan. Here we go. All right, what am I gonna do here? Do I even have it? Do I have my calculator? I do have my calculator. Okay, we're playing Ricky. I'm gonna do a 15% adjustment. We'll just start with my stock 15 times whatever the wind is, wherever the shit I'm at in my club. And I hate hitting that. The way that my opponent hit is the way I'm going to hit right here, and man, that spot is dangerous. .1 divided by, where am I at in my club? There's max. There's min. There's mid. So I'm in mid grizzly, which is 1.1. 1.1. 3.25 rings. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's think. I'm not sure that hey, come on, man. Let's see if the Quasar's got enough. It does. The Quasar's got enough. So what do we have on there for spin? I'm 5 rings off. I want to stay as far away from that as possible. So like if I set it up in that area right there where I'm 5 rings off, I can get to that spot. Five 5.33 rings. Isn't it perfect? And I was leaning a little to the right on accident. This is what I'm talking about. You hit it a little too fast and it goes right into the sand. We gotta try that again. I fucking hate that spot. I do hate that spot. That was a piss poor shot on my part. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. I have some practice tokens here, so let's try that one more time. This is where I wish I could get with Dunner and we could really go out there and we could really practice the hole. Let's think about what my options are here. Just in case. If you've got low level clubs, I can tell you with my 22 account, this hole, this is a dangerous ass hole. With low level stuff. I'm not sure you can get up there. I should take a bag that's got a Grim Reaper and a we can try it out and see like what our options are. Let's go practice that one more time. This time let's look at clubs and see what our options are as far as like getting up there, because practice. Ricky. Hole number 2. One more time. One more time. One more time. The way that I was at it right there, going straight at it, that's the spot. I think what I needed to do was get a little bit closer to the hole so that I could tighten that up just a little bit. I was trying to give myself as much separation away from that sand, trying to stay in that 5-ring area, but I think if you get a little closer and tighten that shot up, what you don't want it to do is get out of control when it gets on the other side. Like if you miss, you want it to stop. So you don't need a lot of backspin on it, but like a couple, 3. Let's see what that looks like. We'll take our time here. We'll freak our opponent out because our opponent's going to be going, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Why aren't you taking the shot? Yeah, and there's not enough. Not enough to go straight at it. Not unless you wanted to get out in this area and then try and backspin it on. And I'm not so sure that that would end up how you think. Because it could take a really weird bounce right there and go straight into the sand. Yeah, I like this spot a little better. And I like being away from it like that. That other spot that I was in, what do I got on there for spin? Almost 2 and 1.5. Okay, I'm going to take it next time right from that spot. Almost 2 and 1.5. Almost 2 backspin, 1.5. So on days when the wind was blowing from the sand, I was, I think, 3 rings off right there. And then you figure 1 ring for the rough, which is not an area you want to get into, so you could work out 3 miles an hour wind. So if the wind was bigger than that, you'd need to bring out either a low wind ball or you'd have to take your chances with the sand. Nice. Nice. And right there, that's about how much speed you can carry, but you can see like the next cut in front of them, it's dropping. So like you can go past it just a titch, but that's about as far as you want to go. I'm going to do 2 and 1.5. .6, 2.71 rings. Here's 271. Hitting it perfect. Let's see how close we can get. Man, that first bounce was so fucking close. And I slightly underpulled it. I did 15, but I should have did at least 15 plus 0.1 right there. And that first bounce, you could tell that it pushed me off. I really think that it probably needs to be like 20%. That first bounce was a lot closer than where I had set it up. I did give myself a lot of room there, and it was super close. All right. We got at least an idea on that. I'm going to start at 20, and if I need to, I may take 0.1 off or start working around that number. We'll see how that hole goes. We'll see how I feel for the rest of the week. I feel fairly, I feel like I'm recovering, but man, I love this hole. This is one of my favorite par 5s. In the past, I've always tried to get up to this shadow right here. And then from there, you get a window on the other side. If you got an upper developed sniper with a 3 power ball, and you can get to this little shadow that's out here on the end is the lamp post casting the shadow out there. If you can get to that spot, you have a window right here, and you can ride right to the cup. Anything in front of that's fine as long as you're below this line. If you get way up in here, what happens is the green is like this, and there's a ridge that runs down it, and everything here is rolling downhill, and then it's kind of flat. And the cup is like right here at that transitional point. And so if you can come at it from the low side, you can come down here on the flat, or you can ride right along the trough and go right up to the cup. But if you get too high up here, you'll have to come at the hole like this, and it's one of those things where you can't get your ball guide to stop at the cup. You push it to the left and it keeps getting longer and longer, and it's hard to get a run right at the cup. We'll go out there and we'll try it with a you can do this with a Titan. If you're using an extra mile on it, which most people will be using an extra mile because it's got the most top spin. I don't even think you need all of the top spin, but you may need to bring out a Kingmaker just for the side spin. You can do the drive, depending on if you're in Rookie, you can do the drive with a Katana, but the deal is you really want the bigger power ball for the second shot. And I'm going to take my number 5 back. The number 5. I've got that Goliath in there. I've been trying to hit with my Goliath. Trying to get used to hitting with it, because in my low-level account, I've got a Goliath, so I've just been hitting with it. Trying it out. Taking it for a spin. The Pro Shop loaned it to me, so I've got it out. I got it out for the weekend. And I conveniently forgot to take it back. Here is my opponent. Hello. Hello. Come on, just give me a replay. There you go. Ravens Nation. Let's see if they are a replay. We might have got lucky and got a real live person. Steven goes first. Good luck, bro. See if they respond back. If they respond back, they're probably a real live person. Now, I get it. You come out here with a white ball and you're doing the deal just to check on distances. Is that the whole thing? But like shit, you wasted a practice token to come out and play with a white ball? Come on, man. Now, I don't need all of the top spin. Two. It's 1.5 per ring, so that should be about a ring and a half. And I'm going to add on a little just because of the... Just cuz. Hitting it perfect. El Perfecto. Hitting it up there. Now you can hit it too far and you can get to the point where you can't get a straight run at it and you have to involve the hill, and I'm like right at that gap. If I would have hit it any farther than that, then you start to get into that deal. I swear we need to take wind off. But we'll see. I could be wrong on that. I could be. Nice shot. I've been playing this hole in Tour 9, and I can tell you that with a low power ball, it's there's max, there's min, so there's mid. So 4.5 divided by 1.1 is 3.88 rings, 3.9 rings. .9 rings. There's 1, 2, 3, 9. Hitting it perfect. I took off 5% and I was at mid club. In the hole! Woo! I love that hole. I took off 5%. I was at mid club times the wind. There you have it. There you have it. Now that wind was favorable. I mean, if you hit it perfect, that wind was made for making it in the hole. But there you go. There you go. It is important to get up there far so that you can get, if you have a 3 Powerball, I was like right here in the shadow. If you end up along this line, right in this area, especially like out in this, you're more towards Max Club and you've got that window. So you pretty much got the same window on this side that I had, where you can put it down here in the pocket at Max Club. But if you can get just a little bit farther forward to get into mid, you can hit it farther forward and get up into this zone and be in minimum club. But you start to get high enough up on the plane that your shot coming in starts to involve the hill. I want to keep it, I actually don't want as much distance. I want about where I was at. That is perfect, so that I can still run straight at the cup. All right. What's the next? What is our next hole? What is hole number 4? Oh, fuck. This is another one of those. Okay, this area right here is an optical illusion. This area here is the same color as the fairway. And so it appears that it's fairway, but it's actually a freaking landmine. These little humps going, you got these little humps and you're in the trough, and this is where you're aiming, and you hit right here and now your ball's going off this way, and you hit right here and now your ball's going off this way, and you're aiming at the top and you hit here and now your ball's going off this way, and now you're going off this way. And if you did a bad pull, but this is where you were aiming, now you're going off. And this area here is like balls are going to be going, like, who the hell knows where the ball is going to end up. This area right here, you can come at this with a Guardian and come right here and put backspin on it and just drive it right to the cup. Or you can start off on the green and drive right to the cup and avoid all of this shit. You can take all of these sand traps out of play. You can take all of these fucking landmines out of play. Take all of that. You can bounce from over here, or you can do the rough bump. I like the rough bump, and I'm going to do 10%. But I'm not opposed to coming right here and driving it with my Guardian, because when this hole first came out, that's exactly how I played it. And occasionally it went in. It's not that you can't go for it, it's just, you're playing it safe and getting rid of all the traps. Let's make sure we got a full selection of clubs. I think I can just take this with the navigator. Maybe. I might need a quasar. We'll take a quasar. Let's go back. Let's make sure we're in rookie. We're on hole number 4. Okay. Just making sure. I'll give you guys some background noise right now. You got that traffic background noise that I play. It's called my backyard. It sounds really busy, and when you're out here, you can't hear it at all from inside the house, or when you're out in the back porch. But the deal is the traffic's way below me, so it's not like they're right on the other side of the fence. They're on the other side of the fence, but about 30 feet below that. Okay, so we can come here. We could take our Guardian. There's Max Club. There's Min. So I'm at about mid club, and you can just try and drive it. We could actually, you can try and drive it from right there and just go straight at it. You can also come out from here. See how much topspin we need. What What is that? 2.5 and 1. Right here is where I'd really like to be. This would be a 3 side spin ball. I have to bring out a katana. The reason I'd like to be up into that area or have that option, and by bringing a katana, is because depending on which way the wind's blowing, I can ride the rough and make it so that I can get an angle so I don't have to pull over the sand. .1 times whatever the wind is divided by wherever I'm at my club. All right, here we go. Let's switch this up for a katana. Okay, there's min, there's max, there's mid. That's as much spin as I can get on it. .3. It's just 2.3 rings. There's 1, 2, 3. Isn't it perfect? El Perfecto. That was 10% at club, and so the deal was I was at mid club, so it was 1.1 times the wind, which is 2.3, divided by 1.1. The 1.1s balance each other out, so it was just the wind with a power 2 ball. You can get close, and I probably should have taken off one. Then I'd been right on. Dag nabbit. Alright, we almost made that one. I like the back. Hey, if you're having any problems and you got a guardian in your bag, you can just go up there and backspin it. Whatever club you got the most backspin in that's in your wood range, you can just go up there and backspin it onto the green and go for it. But that rough bump, I do that rough bump. I like it. I like it. Alright, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Back on the course again. Hole number 5? Is that where we're on? Are we only on hole number 5? Jeez, how long is this video going to be? Alright, so with the original pin placement, this area out here is the best spot. And when we come at the flagpole, the new pin placement, it's actually better to come over here, I think, and bounce off the island. There is a rough bump that you can do, but this type of rough bump is like this. And where you're hitting, like the rough is like just this area, and so you're hitting on this hill face, and it can go great, and it can go south real quick. And the difference is like 2 blades of grass. Out in this area for this pin placement, the cup, if I remember correctly, is kind of like in the trough. And so what it does is it wants to break to the right. So if you start off a little bit to the left of the cup and then make your adjustment, I think that's where we need to be in order to get in. It doesn't take a lot of effort to get up here, but it's super easy because it gets the run out here where it can slide across the course because of all these damn moguls, and you can end up in the sand really easy. There's a spot, you can see it, kind of like this mogul right here. I want to end up down in the bottom of that, or right there on the edge of it. One of the two. One of the two. One of the 6. I think we can just do this with a... I'm not so sure on the end about the side spin, like how much side spin we need. So I'm going to take a 3 side spin ball. Just I want to be as deep into my club as possible. So I'm going to practice it with a Kingmaker. Heartbreaker. This would be a good time for a Thor's hammer just because it has more ball guide. But I definitely want to change up. I think you're actually taking this with a short iron, so if I end up in the right spot up there, the only clubs here that I should be needing is my driver and my short iron. So I will take this bag, and if I have to use my wood or my long iron, it's my own damn fault. That's what you get. That's what you get for hitting into wherever you hit it to. .1 times the wind divided by 1.7 per ring. If we can get an opponent. Didn't we get Steven earlier? Are we getting just the replay deal? .5, 2.2526 rings. I think it's only like maybe 5 topspin. I'm going to do 4.5. .25 rings. I'm going to lean just slightly. I'm going to get fresh with the nubs over on the right hand side. And I hit it great to the right, which is the worst freaking thing I could have did. Because it wasn't a perfect. I'm a little short of where I'd like to be. I'd like to be outside the shadow, but where I'm at should be fine. Should be fine. That should give me a pretty good angle. The deal is that from the, you'll see on the second shot, if you're in that bowl, your angle to the cup, you want to try and get your angle so that little creek trough that's in there, you're straight on it. And what I'm at is kind of this kind of an angle. And there is an adjustment that we need to do here, and I, for the life of me, can't remember what it is. It almost feels like we need to take wind off. Times. Right up in this zone. Start off on the fringe. .2. Where am I at my club? Shit, that probably would have been good information a long time ago. It's close to max. It'd be 1.1 divided by 1.1, but I probably in between and actually should make an adjustment. But I don't have enough time. Oh fuck, and then I hit it great. I hit it great on the right side though, because that's the hillside and it'll break a little bit. And I think just the max club right there was fine. A katana would have actually might have helped me out, because it would have made it so that I was at max club and not kind of in that. I was probably like at 80%, 85. The only worry about a katana is on a headwind day is making sure that there's enough room from where you're setting it up that you could work wind out on headwind days. So on headwind days, it might be better to bring out a Kingmaker if there's not enough room. I took off 5% on that, and I think on a perfect that would have been pretty close. Pretty close. I made a lot of eagles on this hole. This hole is with the old pin placement. With the new pin placement blows, but this pin placement's pretty nice. Pretty nice. All right. We got that one in the bag. What is hole number 6? What is? All right. If I remember correctly, we do like a +10 on the drive. And you have several options on this drive with the original pin placement. Okay, the original pin placement is really tucked back behind these trees. So like if you're on this side and you're driving it around this way, you can, if you don't, depending on ball or your club, you may have to bounce over from here and try and get up. And this green has a backboard, and the farther you get, the more you get around it. Like here it has just a very small backboard, but the more you get over into this side, it has a really big backboard back here. So if you can ride along the edge, when you get over to this side, it will drop back down to the cup. I've come out here, one of my like one-on-one things, because I played this hole a lot in one-on-one and had a Guardian in my bag, where you can start off right here and you can do a max backspin, side spin, curl shot, where you're looking off in this angle and you're trying to get this right, and you're doing the backs. I've made it a few times, but it's always close, but it, you know, occasionally it'll go in just to make you feel like you're a conqueror, but it will get you up there, but its chances of going in are pretty grim. There is a rough bump that you can do. Now, if you're trying to hit this way doing this, you don't want to get far out here. You want to be right along the outside edge of the shadow so that you open this up. But if you're trying, there are several rough bumps. You can do a rough bump on the outside, or you can do a rough bump between the trees, and those you need to get out here. If you're trying to do the one between the trees, I think you really don't need to. It's, once again, if you hit too far, you almost take the window out to do it. So you'll have to practice that shot a few times. It is super fucking dangerous, especially the inside rough bump where you're going between the trees. It is super dangerous, but there is a rough bump that you can do from out here. My buddy Hammer and Hank, he loves this one right here, and I played with him on this course and that's the shot that he was taking, and it is a thing of beauty when it works out, but it is bad when it goes south. Bad. We'll go try it. We'll go check it out. Once again, we're playing these types of holes. It's, in my opinion, when you're on a par 5, if you always want to try and bring out a power 3 ball, because if you get in trouble on this drive shot up here in the front, you can't get over to the green. You'll have to lay it up. And having a bigger power ball will help you get closer. This is a tough green to have to recover, so you do not want to jack this drive up. And with lower developed stuff, with upper developed stuff, you can get your first bounce, and then your second bounce is actually past the sand. So there's literally like no risk that you're going to get into the sand. But if you're playing with low developed stuff, you can't get that far. You'll have to use that tongue, and that tongue is super, super dangerous. Now, if you're trying to get all the way over to the other side to do that rough bump, .22 times 2.2 divided by 1.5, 1.61 rings. There's 1.5, there's 1.61. Hitting it perfect. El perfecto. I can't hit perfect. Wow. And you can get all the way up on that hill face. It's really hard to overshoot that, because at the end it's going up that hill and it'll slow it down. But if you get all the way to the tip, the outside rough bump is, I think, at its best. But I think I have a shot at the inside rough bump, and I have no idea what the wind adjustment is, and I can guarantee you there is one. And it's like 10, 15, 20%, something in that neighborhood. Nice. And let's see. I got a Guardian here. There's a shot right through here. And you can see that obviously we want to be able to we want to know what our adjustment is. Okay, there's max. So I'm eking like mid Guardian. Mid Guardian's 1.3 per ring. There's min. There's max. So I am eking mid at 1.3. How much spin I got on there? One backspin and a sliver of right hand side spin. All right. I'm going to do a 15% adjustment times whatever the wind is, divided by mid Guardian, which is 1.3 per ring. All right, I'm ready to roll. Now, there's another one that you can do on the outside. Let's see if my opponent goes for the outside rough bump or if they're going for the inside rough bump as well. Now, you can do what my opponent's doing here, and you can bounce it around and try and use that hill to get at the cup. I think if you're going like the shot that I was talking about with the Guardian, where you're doing the backspin shot, from that side over there, you really don't have this clean of a shot at it. Like, my opponent's looking at it pretty cleanly without doing any dangerous ass rough bump. That way when they hit 2 rings straight to the left, it'll just, you know, you can see how big the backboard is down on this end. Okay, 2.6, 2.3 rings. .3 rings. There's 1, 2, 3. Oh, and I hit it great to the right. I can't believe I was able to make it through the trees, but there is a rough bump that's right there. There is, straight up at it, and you're coming in on the flat before it involves that hill, so there's a lot of good stuff about it. Unfortunately, my opponent, they should have shot it back off the green. I would have went for that. Because then we could have went out there and tried. There's multiple ways to go with this hole, and that's just one of them, and that is a fairly dangerous way. Now, you're not going to be able to do that if you've got lower developed clubs. If you have lower developed clubs, you want to hit out into the shadow and just go. You can bring out a sniper, your Viper, Guardian, stick it up on the green. It's a tough hole to get an Alvy on. So don't be upset if you don't get one. Because there's not going to be, I mean, there's going to be people that get Alvies on that this week, but it's going to be a small number. I forgot this hole was in this course. Now, the new pin placement, which is over here on this side of the green, I'm still going to try and hit to this side. But with the new pin placement, on those days, anywhere out here, because the new pin's like right here, if you draw a line to the trees, if you can end up anywhere out in this area, you're in the clear. You got a straight up shot at it. So it's worth getting over here. But with the original pin placement, unless you're on this side of the line, unless you're in this area, you don't have a shot at it. So hitting it right out to here isn't going to do you a shit bit of good, because now you're behind the trees. So if you're going to hit over to this area, it's kind of difficult on days when you have headwind. If you've got a tailwind day, you can take the chance of getting up into this area to try and get over to here. But normally what we do is come into this pocket and try and drive out to get out to here and have a short chip. And you have a shit ton of work to do on this short chip. There is a lot of work to do, because the pin is on the side of a freaking hill. And when you're coming in at it from this angle, not only is wind a factor, but this slope is definitely a factor. It'll roll off the hole in a heartbeat. And so even though you get into the perfect spot out here, your job is not done. You can come out with lower level stuff and an extra mile, and there's a max overpower hook shot where you're like coming out this, I can't remember if you're aiming right at this flagpole or this outside tree. trying to get into this area to bring it across, but there is a max overpower hook shot that you can do here that'll bring you out into the same area. And you can overshoot it if you got an upper developed club and you put all of the topspin on. I'm going to use an APOC because I have one. Why not? And I'm going to use, and I'm not so sure that you're not bringing out the bigger ball for the second shot, just to make sure that you're as deep in your club as possible. But I'm going to I'll bring out a power 3 ball, and we'll see what happens. We'll see. I should find that max overpower hook shot. I should bring my 22 account out, because on a hole like this, if you can get over to the same exact area that an upper developed club can get to just by doing a max overpower hook shot, it's definitely worth it. Definitely. Kmart sucks. I don't know if there are any more Kmarts. The town I live in used to have 2, and one closed down years and years and years ago. And of course, if you've lived in town forever, it's always like, hey, it's out there where the old Kmart used to be. But then the other Kmart that was in town just closed down here a few years ago. So now we're all confused. Now it's been so long since the other Kmart closed down that when people go, oh yeah, it's where the old Kmart used to be. Like, which Kmart are you talking about? Which one? Now this is a prime example of arc. Now you can see where the second bounce is at, where it's in the rough. But if you put curl on it and bring it to the right, that bounce is going to end up in the fairway instead of the rough. I'm not sure. Perfecto. Prefecto. Nice. Nice shot. Perfect. Perfect. My opponent got in the perfect spot. Perfect. I think it's like 5 or 6 topspin. We'll do 5.5. I'm going to do 5. Now I'm going to do 5.5. That might be too much. I'm going to be 3 rings off of that sand. 4, 5. If I add on 10%, that would be 3 1/3 rings. One ring great on the outside, one ring great to the left. Perfect. Perfect. I think I'm a little farther away than my opponent. Just a bit, but I'm lower than my opponent. So the hill on this green starts right here, and all of this is coming down. So if you get way far like my opponent, or even farther than my opponent, you're going to have to come at it down the hill like this, and it's more difficult than if you hit it a little short and you can come up on the flat. It's not, I don't know that it'll make or break, and there is definitely an adjustment here, and I can't remember what it is. Seems like we should take a little bit of wind off, but I can't remember. That'll work. That'll work. In the hole. In the hole. And there's max. There's a min. So I'm at minimum club. Minimum kingfisher. Or I'm at maximum wedge. Which is 3.9 divided by 1.2. 3.57 rings. Here's 3.6. Isn't it perfect? In the hole. In the hole. And I added on 10%. That was 10% divided by the wind, or times the wind divided by where I was out in my club, which was max. 1.2. In the hole. All right, there you go. There's one way to do that hole. One way or another. Hole number 8. What is hole number 8? Now, you can go, I think this hole is in the golden shot right now. And there's a shot that you can do that's like right up along this edge where it's like one ring, barely one ring away from it. I am not a fan of hitting one ring away from this. I like to hit in the dead center and come at it. It seemed like we were doing a bigger percentage here. I'm going to do a 30% times whatever the wind is. I think we can do this with just a marlin. I don't think we need a lot of spin if we go straight at it. I think. Maybe we have to bring a quasar. Maybe we have to bring a katana. Let's go try it out. This is a hole that it's very easy if you end up if you put too much backspin on it and you get up to it, you could end up not getting up on the plateau where the pin's at and it'll roll down the front. Or you can come at it just a little bit too hot and it'll roll past. You'd think that it would stay on that little plateau, but it's fairly easy to roll past it and end up in the sand behind it. And this is one of those gopher holes that it really feels like you can get it where you make a hole in one and then you go out there and you do the exact same thing, hit perfect, and then it's like off, where it's like the gophers are out there moving the hole around, laughing their asses off. 2.2, where am I at in my club? There's max. There's min, so I'm at mid club, so mid Goliath. If I was using a Goliath here, it's 2.3. Let's use a club that's got a little more ball guide just so we can see what it takes. There's max. There's min. I'm at mid club still. Seems like it's like 3. Maybe from this area. It required, maybe from this area, it required more side spin. Yeah, I think 3 and 2. You can see that's a sticky spot right there. There's a spot. 3 and 2. Three times whatever the wind is, divided by, I'm in mid grizzly, which is 1.1 per ring. I know Tommy's golden shot thing for this hole, you're like one ring off of that transitional surface. Now, with the golden shot stuff, you have limited, you got to make do with what you have, so that's the spot. But when we're out here playing these holes like this, where we can bring out whatever we want, we don't have to play in that spot. I don't like putting myself in a spot where if I hit a grate to the right, I'm automatically failed. I mean, like, I did that to myself. 3 and 2. .9, 4.6 rings. Here's 4, 5, 6. Hitting it perfect. Underpulled it. It's hard to tell. That area down there in the bottom where I'm at is, if you're one ball width to the right, it's waggling the tail. If you're one ball width to the left, it's waggling the tail, and so it's, that area down there is sticky. I've made a lot of hole-in-ones on that hole, but this is not a hole that I would count as, I don't know, it definitely feels like a gopher hole, like they move the pin around. Hole number 9. What is hole number 9? All right. Now you're going to see a lot of people who shoot over to here and then hit through the trees, and that is a viable way of going at it. I will say this, it is a pain in the ass. It is tough. I see more people fail on this shot just trying to get over here than I do once, you know, the people that get over here, their chances of getting through the trees are pretty high if they brought the right stuff. But getting over here is the hard part. Shit. It can be tough to end up in the perfect spot to try and get around this, to try and weave and bob to get over here. You can lay it up on the island and then try and get up. If you bring a big dog, if you got a big enough ball, you can get your second bounce over on this side right here, and you can try and drive up there and just get an eagle. So either one of these are viable. This one, if you can make the spot, is probably, obviously the second shot's a little easier to get through the trees if you hit it than this shot. But this shot's in the clear, so if you can get over to here, I would rather take this shot and figure this shot out than to take this shot through the trees, because you can do everything right here and still clip one of those trees and it goes south. What I want to do is get over here so that I have this shot and we actually have a shot. Now, if you've got lower developed stuff, there's several ways that you can do this. There's a max overpower hook shot, and if you're looking at this area down here, let's get rid of that. This is tidal, so you can see where it's got the dark shade of sand and then the light shade of sand. So light, dark, right? You can see that transition. The water will wave back and forth, and it'll go to its spot, and then it'll expose that little bit of sand, and then it'll wave back up. This is your area, so like either at its low spot or at its high spot, this is the area that you're going to start setting up for with your clubs, and you'll have to do this with your clubs to figure out where the spot is out here to set up your club to do a max overpower hook. Now, in many cases, you may end up in the rough over here, but if you've got a Nirvana or a big hitting rough iron, you can recover. It's not a big deal. But if you've got lower developed stuff, I would just shoot for right here, because you won't be able to recover from this. If you've got upper developed shit, I'm going to shoot to try and get down to the end of this, and you can do it with a big topper and a max overpower hook, or you can do it with an APOC, and I'm going to do it with an APOC. Getting on this island up here is the tricky part, because you want to get this little mound is shaped like this, and it's like this on all sides. So like there's a little flat area, and then on the other side it rolls down. So if you hit on the flat area, you're going in the trajectory you wanted. But if you hit out here on any of the outside of this, on this area, you're going for a wild ride. And it's going to be flat, where it's not going to get a lot of bounce and go up high. It'll come off the tip here and dive straight across to the other side, or dive out into this area. So you want to hit up here on the flat. Depending on which way the wind's blowing, we may have to bring out a 4-power ball, and this is a great, you want to bring out the biggest side spin ball, and side spin is more important than top spin. So you want to get all the side spin, and however much top spin. Top spin is super important, but side spin is way important, and you really need a 4 side spin ball, and I don't have any 4-4-4s. And the top spin boost isn't going to do me any good, because I'm looking for side spin here. This open ball is probably the one. It's probably the one. Now I only have 3 of those, and if I play this week, I'm just going to bring out a 3-power ball right now. But I think in the tournament, and depending on which way the wind's blowing today, it may not even be possible. Let me make sure I have 2 bags set up. Let's set this bag up here with the rock. And I got that bag. Okay, I'm going to start off with that bag and a Kingmaker. And we'll see if we can drive it over to the other side. And if we can't, then I will just lay it up on that one island. Practice, rookie. Hole number 9. Here we go. You can go back in my video. You can go back, look at the holes that hole number 9's been played in. You can go to YouTube, type in ot and type in that tournament. And I've played this hole. I've done the max overpower hook shot a bunch in the past. Especially if you find an older tournament with this hole in it. That max overpower hook shot was the way to go. Once you get your APOC to level 5, I think at level 5 it gets the rest of its curl. You can start trying to do max curl shots. You can do it with a, if you bring out a really big ball, you can do that shot from the top up there, the curl shot with a, you might be able to do it with a big topper. Nice. That was fucking nice with a white ball. That was a nice shot. That was. That's 4-5. I'm going to push it back one half a ring. One ring great to the right. Oh my gosh, right here, this first bounce. That's all important. You got to hit on the flat. Almost, if I could have caught that fairway right there and got that bounce, it would have got me past that area. That's the shot right there. That's why the side spin's so important. That 4 side spin would have kept me in the fairway, would have kept my ball right along that outer edge. But from this side over here, you actually have a legitimate Albie shot. If you're down there with your Grizzly or a Goliath, you have a serious look at it. So we know we can recover from here. So like what my opponent did right there and recover, that's the deal. But what we want to know is like what kind of an adjustment would we make if we were out in this area, because we're really trying to get down here towards the tip. It feels like it needs to be, like there is an adjustment. I've been in this spot before playing this hole, and there is an adjustment going to the cup. It's like a 10%, or there is an adjustment we need to make. Let's see what we got. Maximum Goliath. .8 divided by 1.8. 322, or excuse me, 232. 2, 1, 2, 3, 2. Hitting it perfect. That was 10% at club. Still underpulled it just a little. I was coming in there too fast, but where I hit right about in here, so still just a little bit of an underpull. I like that area down there, and it's possible, like my opponent just did it with a white ball, so it's possible to get down to that area. That's the one spot from here where you have a serious shot at Albie. All the rest of the shots are get your eagle, because there's going to be a shit ton of people that are going to fail on that hole. I would bet that maybe 20-30% of the bracket are going to miss that hole at least once during the round. All right, there you go. There you have a look at all of the holes. Let's look at our amazing scorecard. Look at that. Look at that. Did get an Albie on that card, though. Woo. Send that home. We'll picture that. Have a good one. I'll see if I get better as the week goes on. I may try and film. I'm going to go take a nap. I may try and film again this afternoon and do a pro video, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. If you're not a subscriber, hit subscribe. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. Ring the bell. Ring the bell.